This is CBC Here and Now.
And the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions.
A Stanley Cup win for hometown hockey star Alex Newhook and the Colorado Avalanche. Tonight, we'll speak with Alex live.
We've stepped back 50 years. If you're pregnant and you need an ambulance to take you to the hospital, you better have a midwife by, because you may not get an ambulance for hours.
Another emergency room closed, this time in Whitburn. Why the mayor worries about doctor burnout and available ambulances.
Our party had made a commitment under Chess's leadership that we would not go out doing fundraising and risk spreading COVID.
The PC's election campaign last year was largely funded by its then leader. Why questions are being raised about Crosby's $300,000 donation? Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. Well, this province has a new champion. Forward Alex Newhook is an NHL Stanley Cup winner. The Colorado Avalanche won last night with a victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that means the Cup will be coming back to Newfoundland and Labrador. Here Now's Garrett Barry is live in St. John's, somewhere close to home for Alex Newhook. Right, Garrett?
Yeah, that's right. Quite close, Carolyn. We're at a neighborhood park not far at all from Alex's childhood home, and it's an absolutely beautiful day. And even since we've been set up here, we've had some neighbors come up to us and say, you know, Alex is such a great young man and deserves all the accolades he's getting here today. So people in this area are quite excited to see the little boy they saw grow up become an NHL champion. Alex hoisted the Stanley Cup last night. He had 4 assists during these playoffs, 2 in the final round in games 2. And that jubilation that you can see here is matched only by the fans who cheered him on the whole way. Superfan Paul O'Leary traveled to Colorado to see that Game 2 victory where Alex contributed, and now he's celebrating.
Yeah, in I guess a weird way. As a fan, you're going through it all. You're not on the ice, but every win, every defeat, every pain, the good, the bad, you're there with it all. So you do feel like you're a part of it. And you know, I've had a lot of support from family and friends in the last few weeks, so it brings it all together and just makes it that much more special.
Paul is feeling a little bit under the weather himself, but he just couldn't pass up that opportunity to brag about the Avalanche big win. So thank you very much for that, Paul. It's a great day for him, for hockey fans in this province, and especially for Colorado Avalanche fans. And we're not done here on Here and Now tonight. We're going to be hearing from Alex later in the show, and perhaps his biggest fans of all, Alex's 2 parents, a little later on the show. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Garrett Barry in St. John's.
The emergency department in Whitburn is closed this week, which means about 20,000 people in the province will be without emergency care. The mayor says this could go on for at least 6 more weeks. There are only 2 ER doctors in Whitburn, and she says both need a break.
I think these doctors are really worn out. They've been one day and one night, just continuous every day, 7 days a week, no break. And, you know, they're getting burnt out. It's the same across the island. But in this case, you know, they definitely needed a break.
Now, Eastern Health says anyone in need of emergency care should call 911 or proceed to the nearest open emergency department in Carbonear, Placentia, or St. John's. And this isn't limited to Whitburn. We've learned that in New West Valley this week, emergency services won't be available from Tuesday through Thursday. Now, the mayor of Whitburn tells me there's also an issue with available ambulances. That conversation continues in about 15 minutes on Here and Now. Well, 2 people are dead following another head-on collision in this province. Springdale RCMP say it happened Saturday morning shortly before 9:30. 2 cars collided on the TCH west of the Blue Canoe campground. One driver, a 64-year-old man, died at the scene. The 19-year-old man driving the other vehicle later died in hospital. A passenger in that vehicle remains in hospital with serious injuries. The road was wet at the time. There were periods of heavy rain and water buildup. Last week, 2 transport trucks collided head-on the TCH in central Newfoundland, killing 2 people.
Well, it was certainly a warm weekend across the province, and we've seen a pretty mild stretch of weather for this time of year anyway for a good chunk of the province as well. 26 degrees was the temperature it hit yesterday in St. John's. The typical first time we see the 26-degree mark is around July 8th. So we're certainly seeing that nice mild air, and it does look like some of those mild temperatures are going to continue for a good chunk of the province as well. Take a look at where we're sitting today into the 20s, 27 in Deer Lake, 31 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and 29 in Cartwright. So plenty of heat. We do have a system rolling through their area of low pressure, an extended cold front with it as well. It's sparking some lightning up across Labrador. So Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll talk about what to expect when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, for the second time in 6 months, a car has crashed into a downtown St. John's barber shop. Fortunately, no one was inside Fogtown Barber when the SUV crashed into the building yesterday afternoon. Owner Chris Evans says it's like a bomb went off. Had his shop been open, he believes anyone inside would have been killed.
You know, these things do happen. Believe it or not, I have a couple of clients, friends who've had similar things happen to businesses that they run. One guy, John Rusted, involved with Manna Bakery, had his business run into twice as well. It does happen. It sounds crazy, but you know, we're not going to dwell on it too much. We're just thinking about the persons inside the vehicle. We don't know their status. We hope they're okay and their families are okay. You know, waking up this morning to just tons of messages of support and offers of help. So we're just trying to organize things and get back our business.
According to the RNC, 2 people in the SUV were taken to hospital. Just 6 months ago, another SUV crashed into the side of the shop, forcing it to move temporarily. Evans says plans are underway to move once again. Well, in other news, the PC election machine during last year's chaotic pandemic election was largely funded by cash from its former leader. And critics are saying it's further proof that election reform is long overdue in this province. Here now's Terry Roberts reports.
As Ches Crosby was running to become the premier of the province in 2021, he opened his wallet in a big way, donating $300,000 to the Progressive Conservative Party. The former leader contributed more than 40% of all donations.
When asked why, Crosby says he wanted to try and level the playing field with the Liberals, who raised more than twice as much as the PCs. Crosby says he also believed very strongly in his party's platform. So basically, he put his money where his mouth is.
There was nothing I was going to get out of the financial contribution I made except give the PC party a chance of coming into office and implementing that program.
Despite Crosby's big donation, the PCs dropped from 15 to 13 seats. The Liberals under Andrew Furey won a slim majority, and Crosby lost his own seat in Windsor Lake.
Crosby didn't break any rules. There are no limits to what individuals, corporations, and what labor groups can contribute to political parties in this province. But political scientist Russell Williams says the donation is concerning and possibly unprecedented.
It says that people who have large sums of money have essentially extra power or extra influence over how our democratic institutions work.
Williams believes it will be hard to find a similarly large donation by an individual to a political party in modern Canadian history. That's because the federal government and most other provinces have contribution limits.
If you wanted to contribute to a federal political party this year, the maximum you can donate is $1,675. If you live in Ontario, your maximum contribution, just over $3,300.
Without Crosby's generosity, the PC campaign would have looked much different.
Essentially, their election campaign was financed by one donor, by and large. That's really alarming for the state of our democratic institutions, and a really sad comment on the state of our campaign finance laws here in Newfoundland and Labrador that's allowed.
The PC spent nearly $700,000 during the election. Every donation of more than $100 is listed on the Elections NL website. But Crosby's contributions stand out among all the rest. His only regret is that the PCs didn't win.
You don't run a political party on fumes, and everyone knows that too. So if I didn't make that personal contribution, we would have had a much reduced opportunity to get our message out.
With the election taking place during the pandemic, the PCs decided to limit their fundraising efforts, and the current leader says Crosby should be commended for stepping up.
We were fortunate enough that we had a leader who was committed to this party, but more importantly, committed to the people of this province, that he was willing to put his own money up to ensure that there was an alternative to the Liberal Party here, and that we could get across this province and get our message out to people and hear from Newfoundlanders and Labradorians about what kind of government they wanted.
Last year's drawn-out and controversial campaign has fired up the debate over election reform, and there are plans to overhaul the Elections Act. But when might that happen? Well, that's the $300,000 question. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, it's more than a month until the 203rd running of the Royal St. John's Regatta, but the self-described oldest organized sporting event in North America witnessed a first this weekend. On Saturday, 2 women's crews raced on the long course for the first time.
Yeah, this is a big season for our female crew, the Verso crew. It was the first time we were able to row the long course, which is traditionally been rowed by men only. We were super excited that the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee was able to allow females to row the long course for the first time ever. It was absolutely amazing. As we were passing through the ladies' kegs, our coxswain called for "Let's make history," and then we pushed right through those kegs and went right to the bottom of the pond. Yeah, this has been about 20 years in the making. A number of female crews and a number of female advocates before this had wanted to row the long course. I think it was something that the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee had wanted for a long time too. It's just very exciting that we were able to make it happen this year. After 2 years of long COVID, and having this now is something that females can really, I guess, enjoy for the first time ever.
The idea has been around for quite a while. We've been working towards it. And of course, you know, we've gotten some input from the crews as well, and we heard what they wanted. So this year happened to be a great timing to implement the new race courses.
It's just really exciting. Like, I remember hearing about the first women's crew to ever row, and I just thought that was so cool. So I'm so happy to be part of the first crew to do the full course. Yeah.
Was it harder than you thought?
No, it was easier than I thought. Actually, I thought it was going to be really hard, but it was not bad. I actually liked it more than the shorter course. Yeah.
That is
Yeah. You know, we were excited to race this morning, and then when it actually happened and coming to the finish line and seeing everybody at the top of the pond cheering, and then coming in and seeing the committee clapping their hands, and then also having all the crews on dockside, it was pretty emotional. I think there was a few tears for us all. It was a great morning and a great feel. Despite the windy conditions, we got to feel what it was really like to go right down to the bottom of the pond.
Certainly had a good day for it today as well. Taking a look outside right now, we do have some clouds rolling through. There's some rain in the forecast as well. I'll get into the details coming up.
Well, what a glorious weekend it was weather-wise. I spent most of it outdoors, did so much gardening. I'm sure lots of people did. Put the flowers out and the vegetables. How about you?
Yeah, basically same thing, and just enjoyed it because it has been absolutely beautiful, and these beautiful stretches of weather, you definitely have to take advantage of them. Try to get out for a walk with the dogs, but it's too hot once you get to it, so you got to do it nice and early.
Take a little bit of water in a container.
Right. Yeah. At one point, Stevie just gave up, but that's okay. Yeah, temperatures today still warm as well. Let's take a look at those daytime highs out there. 24 degrees in St. John's today, 23 in Bonavista, but you factor in that humidity, it's feeling more like the 30s. Unfortunately, though, those cooler temperatures are continuing along the south coast, 14 degrees, thanks to that onshore flow. And then Labrador, 31 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay today. If you're asking yourself if that is a record, it's not, but pretty close. 34.7 degrees in 2003 is the standing record, but 31 degrees, absolutely beautiful out there. Temperatures today, or right now I should say, sitting still at 23 degrees in St. John's. Humidex values feeling more like 29, a little bit of a breeze out there. Those winds out of the west around 33 kilometers per hour. And taking a look at the humidity around the province, still feeling like 27 in Gander, same thing for Corner Brook, feeling like 31 in Deer Lake, and then even a little bit of humidity up across the Big Land, 30 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay right now, and feeling more like 33. 34 is what it's feeling like in Cartwright. So certainly lots of summer heat there. We have an area of low pressure moving through with a cold front extended on it. You can kind of see that line moving through right there, actually, with some thunderstorms embedded in this line. And so Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch. That just means that all the ingredients are there for a thunderstorm to potentially capable of, I should say, with heavy rain, some hail, and some strong winds as well. So definitely keep an eye out to the sky as you head through the evening hours tonight. Even as you head towards Happy Valley Goose Bay, there's a few cells to the south that may track over the next few hours. Taking a look at the island right now, do have some showers working their way across southern areas of the Avalon, and that's going to continue to work its way north as we head through the night tonight. Future tracker kind of picking up on that. They should be very scattered in nature through the overnight. Still looking at that chance of fog and drizzle along the south coast, along with a few showers. There's that cold front moving through. So you may hear a few rumbles of thunder, and then that will move towards coastal areas of Labrador as we get into the early morning hours, and then some rain again for the southwestern portion by the time we get into the morning hours as well. Temperatures tonight not really moving too much. Still another mild night, around 13 to 16 degrees, a little cooler for the northern peninsula by a degree, 12 degrees for you. The winds will generally be out of the south or southwest between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. And then as that cold front moves through, temperatures cooling for Lab City, 8 degrees, and still staying mild for Happy Valley Goose Bay, around 17 degrees through the night tonight. 3 degrees in Nain. Now, as we head through tomorrow, those showers are going to work their way along the south coast. Likely going to be generally cloudy tomorrow across the island with the chance of showers pretty much across the board. They'll be isolated, but that chance is still there. Same thing up across Labrador as you head towards the evening hours for the southeast. And then again, pretty much hanging on to that chance of showers right across the board as we get into overnight and even into Wednesday morning. Some more shower activity expected for the eastern half of the island as we get through Wednesday and eventually clearing out. So temperatures tomorrow should stay pretty much where we're sitting today. Winds a bit more breezy though out of the southwest, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Again, that chance of showers about 24 degrees in St. John's. Humidex value still feeling closer to the 30s. As we head towards central, similar forecast, and along the south coast as well, 15 degrees for Harbour Breton. And that chance of showers, better chance of showers though for the west coast with those winds out of the southwest between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. Temperatures a bit cooler for you, 15 to 19 degrees, a little warmer as you head towards Humber Valley, around 21 degrees. Northern Peninsula, you're looking at a pretty nice start to the day with a few peaks of sun, but that chance of showers will move in. Much cooler tomorrow, but still absolutely beautiful in Clarenville, in Cartwright, 21 degrees. Same thing for Happy Valley Goose Bay. You're going to lose 10 degrees tomorrow, but it's certainly going to feel pretty nice. Now, these warm temperatures are generally going to stick around, but we'll get into those details when I come back.
Well, another community has suspended emergency services because of a shortage of doctors. Last week, we told you about Bonavista shutting down services temporarily. Well, now emergency services at the William H. Newhook Community Health Center in Whitburn are suspended until the end of the week. In a release, Eastern Health says human resource challenges are to blame. Joining me now is the mayor of Whitburn, Hilda Whalen. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Can you talk about those human resource challenges? What's your understanding about why emergency services have been shut down this week?
Well, I've been in constant contact with the executive director for Eastern Health. The reason it's shut down now is because the doctors that were there were just the two doctors. And of course, one was taking day, one was taking night, and they're basically nonstop for the last couple of months. So they both needed a break and wanted to go on holiday, but they convinced them, no, take your holidays, and leave one doctor here. So we have 1 week, which is this week, where there's only one doctor. And when he's through, the other doctor, he will come back. So we will have no emergency service for at least the next 6 weeks. Some of the things that we had to do in regards to chemo and lab services and will be done out of the Community Health Center at Whitburn.
What do you make of this? Having two doctors on vacation at the same time, is this like a failure in planning, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think these doctors are really worn out. They've been 1 day and 1 night, just continuous every day, 7 days a week. No break, and they're getting burnt out. It's the same across the island, but in this case, they definitely needed a break.
And what happens if someone in the area does have an emergency? Like, say there was a highway accident or something like that, and someone needs urgent care. Where do they go?
They go to Carbonear or St. John's. That's another issue we have, being that it's a long distance now. And not being triaged at the clinic, we need more ambulances. And actually, yesterday and the day before, we were batting around whether we were going to have any ambulances. There was some issue going on with between Eastern Health and our ambulance drivers that they had to be in Whitburn, couldn't find a place. Actually, the paramedics and the ambulance was parked down on the highway in all that heat yesterday. And of course, I made some calls today and to some of the higher up, even the Premier's office. And I made quite a lot of noise about it. And I got a call at dinner time saying they can now work out of the clinic. So they will operate from the clinic from here on in. But like I said, 2 ambulances not enough with the distance they have to go, or 3. They need another couple of ambulances. I mean, we've stepped back 50 years. If you're pregnant and you need an ambulance to take you to the hospital, you better have a midwife by, because you may not get an ambulance for hours.
And then if an ambulance is on a call driving someone to Carbonear or St. John's, that means that ambulance isn't available to attend to another emergency. So there's the lag time there as well.
Absolutely. And remember, if they got to drive to St. John's, they got someone on the gurney, they have to wait at St. John's at emergency, and Carbonear. They're both really busy now because of all the clinics that are going to them. So that even makes it longer. So the wait time for an ambulance could get quite long in the future. Don't have a heart attack or a baby. Not right now, not a good time.
How are residents in Whitburn and the surrounding area, how are people reacting to the news this week that the emergency services are suspended?
Well, of course, they're upset. And, we've come to rely so much on our clinic here that it being not only no emergency service, half the time you can't get an appointment. It's just not feasible for us to be going back and forth to St. John's and Carbonear, and certainly not cheaper.
Mayor Hilda Whalen, thank you so much for this. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for your time.
This province has a new Stanley Cup champion. Alex Newhook will get his day with the trophy. Not too long. I'm here with some proud parents, Paula and Sean Newhook. And I'll be talking to them later on Here Now.
Well, history was made last night as Newfoundland's own Alex Newhook became a Stanley Cup champion. His team, the Colorado Avalanche, took down the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1 in Game 6 last night. 21-year-old Alex Newhook is now the third Newfoundlander to win the Stanley Cup after Danny Cleary and Michael Ryder. Now, there is a big support system behind that young new NHL player. We're hoping to speak with Alex in just a few moments, but first we're going to go live to Garrett Barry, who's out in the field right now with two of Alex's biggest supporters. Garrett.
That's right, Carolyn. Paula and Sean Newhook join me now, and they're proud parents and I guess, yeah, #1 fans. Paula, I'll start with you. I'm just wondering, we're here in the playground where Alex would play when he was younger. How does it feel to be here now that he's kind of reached the summit?
Yeah, it's very surreal. I mean, wow, first of all, where's the time gone? But yeah, all these years later, it's just amazing to see a young boy's dream come true.
Hey, Sean, when did you know, or when did it sink in for you that your son had become a Stanley Cup champion?
Right when the final buzzer went, because you never know right till the end. And it was such a nail biter last night and came right down to the wire. So really, when we stood up and we were counting down the last 10 seconds, that's when I realized, okay, this is happening. But not until that minute. Like, it's so tight the whole time, playing against such a good team. It wasn't right till the very end, I got to say.
A 2-1 game in the final seconds, an icing that was waved off with 20 seconds to go. What is it like for you guys watching that?
It was very intense. We had lots of friends and family over, and so, kind of on the edge of your seat all night. The game was so good. Both teams were so good, and it was so close. So really just sitting on the edge of the seat and just hoping right to the last minute.
You guys must have had an incredibly busy week. What has it been like? I mean, you get to share this moment with some of your neighbors, some of your friends. What's that been like?
Oh, it's been awesome, man. We were very fortunate. We got down to Edmonton for a couple of games and down to Colorado for a couple. We were supposed to go back for Game 7, which I'm glad we're not, and it's done. But we've had some good crowds over to the house. We've had some good fun. It's really been 2 months of playoffs, so to see it all culminate last night in the victory was kind of surreal. It was like, this is actually happening. It was awesome. We had a great time.
As we were setting up here, one of your neighbors came up to us and showed us a lovely picture of you and Alex when he was young at a Canada Day party. Don't know how long ago, but a little bit ago. What do you guys remember from this place and when Alex would play here?
Yeah, well, we moved into the neighborhood like 25 years ago on a 5-year plan. And when we decided we were going to move, there were so many kids around. So the kids, they never wanted to leave the neighborhood. Every 5 years we'd reevaluate. And they just had so many friends. At any given time, Alex could go out in front of the house, or Abby, hold a hockey stick. And I always made a bet with anyone. Within minutes, 10 kids would be coming around to, have a game of shinny hockey or whatever. So it's been amazing. It's been a real community, really, to get the kids where they are today.
And there's going to be lots of demands on you guys in the next coming, weeks and months. Any chance we might be able to see a little Stanley Cup show and tell here in this park, you think?
Hopefully. Why not? I'm hoping to see it in my backyard. So, I'm sure the couple make an appearance here in the park. Absolutely. There'll be a lot of people around here, a lot of neighbors that we've known for a long time that want to get a little snap and a little peek at it. Yes, for sure.
I just understood that we have Alex on the line with us now. Is there anything you guys would like to say before we go to him on the show?
I mean, certainly, and we've talked to him late last night and again this morning, and certainly, Alex, we just want to let you know how proud we are to you as parents and as a community, and the amount of support we've received from the people in Newfoundland and Labrador is overwhelming. So congratulations, we love you, and can't wait to see the cup.
Thank you guys so much for your time. And we have Carolyn, we have Alex on the show. Carolyn, why don't we go back to you?
Thanks so much, Garrett. And yes, indeed, Alex Newhook joins us live now. Alex, where are you right now? Busy day for you, I'm sure.
Just walked into my apartment back in Denver.
Well, congratulations on the big win last night. We were just speaking with your parents. They are so very, very proud. I know they couldn't be there with you, but your sister was there. Tell us about last night.
Yeah, it was everything I dreamed of and more. Going into Game 6 with another chance to win the cup. It's something you dream of as a kid, and we really just had to focus on getting one more win. We had a couple chances at it, and couldn't say enough about our group last night and getting the job done and becoming world champs. So it's a great feeling.
And it really is such a dream for countless hockey players, past and present, to hoist that Stanley Cup over their head just like you did last night. It was a dream for you too. Can you describe for us what that felt like?
Yeah, you know what? It's the only word I can think of that comes to my head is crazy. It's something I've dreamed of, and seeing fellow Newfoundlanders raise it before me, and Cleary and Ryder, it's something I've looked up to and dreamed up for so long, and finally getting that moment there to lift it above my head, it was an unbelievable feeling and something I'll never forget.
And you mentioned Cleary and Ryder. Yes, you are now part of a very exclusive club. You're one of only 3 Newfoundlanders to win the Stanley Cup. What does it feel like for you to follow in those footsteps?
Yeah, it means so much to me. I'm super proud to be from Newfoundland and Labrador, and growing up watching those guys and dreaming of getting to the NHL one day and winning the Stanley Cup. Now I can say that I've done it, and like you said, there's only so many people that have done it from Newfoundland, and there's only so many people that get to do it in the world. So it's I'm very, very thankful and grateful to be on such a great team and be a part of a winning club.
Yes, you've done it, and at such a young age. You're 21 years old. You're at the beginning of your career. How do you... Oh, we just lost Alex Newhook. That's unfortunate. That was Alex Newhook live. Very, very busy, exciting day for him. As we mentioned last night, he became a Stanley Cup champion. Congratulations once again, Alex. Regalia is a big part of the vibrancy of a powwow. The ensembles are stunning, bold, and colorful. Each fancy regalia takes Robin Benoit about 3 weeks to make. You can see her work at powwows across the province, but as she explains, that wasn't always the case.
The fancy a regalia is a regalia of many that you could make for the powwows down there. So there's many different dancers, like your cultural dancers, your jingle dress dancers. Your fancy dancers is a little bit more elaborate than your traditional dancers. They say, like, when we have the powwow, you dance and you pray. So it's a part of our culture, our tradition. Yeah. A lot of times when people come in and they want to dance, or they're going to do like a ceremony with it, they want to implement like their family history or maybe a loved one that's passed on. The design comes from the individual person that wants them. So this one here I just made for myself for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. But there's also little kids that come in, they want to have a butterfly. I just recently done one for, like, as a unicorn for a toddler. And then you sit down, you talk with them, and you ask them like what their favorite color is, what their favorite animal is, and then you start to implement it into your piece of art, which it is, in the end, it's their artwork, yeah. When the powwows first started coming here, so that was about 27 years ago, and a lot of the regalias were very, you know, just plain, straightforward. There wasn't, and it was new to everybody then too. So we had a lot of dancers come from different parts of the province to come down and dance. And I just noticed that there was hardly anyone there dancing from our own community. So I ended up asking my boss, I was like, you know, can we do something about this? Like, we need to get these fancier regalias and get our dancers out there. And she was so encouraging. She's like, sure, let's do it. I only had one order. So it didn't take off very well. Not at first. In the second year, I may have had 2 or 3 orders. But by the third year, I was like booked a year in advance. And I did go down on the powwow ground, and it was really nice to stop and look and see all the little ones there dancing in the regalias, and they were having such a good time. And then you see like the moms of the kids that are dancing, and they got regalias on that you made for them. By the third year, when we went down there, our dancers were just lining, and it just went on forever. And it was a moment, I'm not gonna lie. It was like oh my God, I think I had a little cry there, yeah, for sure. It was a beautiful sight to see. At the end, I'm just trying to take their vision and put it on fabric. And sometimes it's really hard because they don't have the words to say or express what they want on it. So it's up to you to really pick that apart and try to come up with this piece of artwork that represents who they are. So every single one is so difficult to do. I don't want to miss up on it, you know? This is who they are. They're representing something like who they are and what they believe in their regalia. And when you open up the shawl and you wait for their reaction, like I said, you're just waiting, like, is this what they had pictured? So far, for the last 17 years, I've managed to do okay, but I don't know. Yeah, every time so far, they're like, oh yes, okay, that's exactly what I was, okay.
So beautiful. Those colors are amazing. And we just have a shout out for a very special little boy. Robin mentioned to me that her 3-year-old son, Frankie, loves to watch the news. So I want to say hello to Frankie. I hope you loved seeing your mom on TV tonight. And our big local sports story tonight, of course, is Stanley Cup winner Alex Newhook. Thousands of hockey fans flocked to Denver for last night's big game. Wimbledon is also welcoming crowds back to watch this year's championships. There are 3 Canadian tennis stars still competing on arguably the most famous lawn in the world, but the global outcry over Russia's war in Ukraine means players from 2 countries won't be taking part. Ashley Burke reports from London.
This is one of the big screens set up in London where the public can come and watch what's considered one of the most prestigious and famous tennis tournaments. And this year, Wimbledon is off to a controversial start. The organizers have banned all players from Russia and Belarus from competing. This is a move that's in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Here's what fans here in London had to say about that.
I think it's necessary from a political perspective and a perspective of showing support for the terrible situation and the struggles of the Ukrainian people.
Wimbledon is a private club and they can make their rules, so I can understand why they've done it, but I do feel sorry for the top ranking players that are not able to compete.
The world's got to make a stance, so I get it. I do get it, but I think it's a terrible shame for them.
A spokesperson for the Kremlin has said the decision turns athletes into hostages to political prejudice and that the competition will suffer from their removal. Now, in response, Wimbledon has been stripped of its ranking points. So that means no matter how athletes do over the next 2 weeks, they will not be able to move up the rank after this competition.
Canadians competing in the main singles draw: Denise Shapovalov, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Bianca Andreescu.
Canadians will be cheering them on, hoping that they can make it all the way to the finals. Ashley Burke, CBC News, London.
Well, a long weekend is coming with Canada Day falling on Friday this year. Ottawa, the city at the center of the celebrations, is bracing for another round of anti-government protests. Officials say they are prepared to make sure any demonstrations do not turn into a repeat of the so-called Freedom Convoy that jammed city streets for weeks at the beginning of the year.
We've had extremely good cooperation through Commissioner Lucky and Commissioner Creek of the RCMP and the OPP to help us properly staff what we need to do. As long as there are public safety concerns, we will have operations in effect to manage those.
These will be the first in-person Canada Day celebrations in the national capital since the pandemic started. It's been moved to the National War Museum, because of construction work on Parliament Hill. An expanded exclusion zone is being put in place, and parking restrictions will be strictly enforced, along with bylaws for littering, noise, and fireworks. Police say they've been monitoring social media and chat rooms for indications of what protests might be planned. They say they're prepared for anything that might happen. Well, Queen Elizabeth is visiting Scotland this week. It's her first public appearance since her Platinum Jubilee celebrations earlier this month. She was joined by her youngest son, Prince Edward, and his wife to kick off the royal week of events. The 96-year-old monarch took part in the traditional ceremony of the keys, where she was symbolically offered the keys to the city and welcome to Scotland. In recent months, the Queen has cut back on public duties because of what Buckingham Palace calls episodic mobility issues. Well, if you picked up some Landwash beer this weekend, there may be a surprise for you at the bottom of the can. The Mount Pearl Brewery has been sneaking in quotes from classic episodes of The Simpsons, which is great news for Here and Now Zach Gowdy, who's a bona fide fan. He swung by the brewery to test his Simpsons history.
Are you guys Simpsons super fans?
I grew up watching it with my family every Sunday night.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is.
Hi, my name is Chris Conway. I'm the general manager and co-founder of Landwash Brewery.
Hi, my name is Christina Cody. I'm brewmaster and co-founder of Landwash Brewery.
We collaborated with Mallard Cottage, Chinch Bistro, and Newfoundland Sausage Company to make these really super summer-friendly barbecue beer 8-packs. And because it's a big initiative, our production team decided to have a little fun with the date coder and put Simpsons quotes hidden on the bottom of the cans next to the date codes. So we date code our beer because for beer, it's very important to have it fresh. So we wanted to just make a little playful, fun way of being like, okay, check your date codes, find some nice fresh beer.
Okay, it's Simpsons trivia time. Let's see if I can remember which episodes these canned quotes come from. Hit me.
All right. My bratwurst has a first name. It's F-R-I-T-Z.
Rainier Wolfcastle is remembering his childhood.
My bratwurst has a first name. It's F-R-I-T-Z.
I see you played Knifey Spoony before.
It's from The Simpsons Go Down Under when Bart makes prank phone calls to Australia, has to go to Australia to apologize.
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
You don't win friends with salad.
From the classic Lisa a Vegetarian, it's from the barbecue episode.
You don't win friends with salad.
You don't win friends with salad.
And the last one, it's still good, it's still good.
From the pig flying through the air, one of the highlights of the Lisa's Vegetarian, the barbecue episode. Who hasn't said that in their own life?
Exactly.
It's still good, it's still good.
Anytime anything lands on the floor.
It's just a little slimy. It's still good, it's still good.
Working on the canning line can be a long day, and so putting in these little jokes to kind of poke fun at everything just makes everybody a little bit happier after an 8-hour shift of canning beer.
That is pretty good. What a cute idea. Ashley, are there any quotes from any shows or movies that you're especially good at citing?
A movie, I guess. Finding Nemo. I love that movie. I could probably recite that from start to finish.
Oh, impressive, yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Star Trek. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Trekkie. My dad actually got my name from an episode of Star Trek.
Surprises me every time you say that. And I know it.
If anyone knows what episode that is, send me a tweet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
Anyways, let's move on to the weather, long-range forecast. How are things looking as the week goes on?
It's going to start to get a little bit unsettled. We've had some pretty nice stretches of weather, a little bit of rain. We do need the rain, though, with the lack for sure. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Speaking of rain, this is the thunderstorm that is about to hit Lab City. Kurt King shared this with me on Twitter a little bit earlier there. So when you hear thunder, head inside, obviously, and you're going to see that risk of thunderstorms for the next couple of hours heading towards central Labrador as well. So taking a look at what's going to happen as we head into Tuesday evening or tomorrow night into Wednesday, another cold front looks to move through with a chance of showers again by the time we get into Wednesday morning, and we may see a few showers as well for the eastern half of the island through the day. Eventually that will clear, but those showers will work their way towards central Newfoundland as we get into the afternoon. Now temperatures are going to stay mild again, about 23 degrees in St. John's, 26 in Gander. We're going to hang on to this humidity as well for a couple of more days. In fact, we'll say goodbye to this air mass as we head towards the weekend, but again, unsettled. Some sunshine, but also the chance of some scattered showers in the mix as well. Labrador, you're going to head back to the 20s, Lab City at 20 degrees through the day on Wednesday. Some sunshine, at least to start, for central and southeastern portions of the Big Land, with your temperatures in the mid-20s as we get into Wednesday. Now, Wednesday evening, as we head into the overnight and into Thursday morning, this is when that chance of showers will move through most of the Big Land, clearing for the most part for the island. Another beautiful day expected. We may see a few showers again towards the evening hours and the overnight hours for the eastern portion of the island. Again, much needed rain. We haven't really seen a whole lot of rain in the last couple of days. Temperatures expected to get mild again or stay mild again through central and the west coast. Temperatures across southern areas of the island still in the teens though, but the winds are shifting for you, so a lot less fog as we head through Thursday. There's that chance of showers, but again, it'll be in the evening hours for eastern half of the island. 22 degrees in St. John's. Temperatures dip a little bit in behind that cold front for Labrador, down to the teens, and about 21 degrees across the straits. Now, taking a look at the long-range forecast, still a stretch of 20-degree temperatures. Not going to say anything about that for sure, but as we head towards the long weekend, Friday is looking like it'll be a bit rainy for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland by 23 degrees by the time we get into Saturday though, and the sunshine should return. But again, overnight we may see a few more showers. Now for central Newfoundland, you're looking at a same thing, unsettled, likely a bit more sunshine in the forecast though for you on Friday. 21 degrees, 27 by the time we get into Saturday, so back into that, and then by western Newfoundland, into the 20s for you, but a bit unsettled this weekend. For eastern Labrador, back into the 20s through the weekends, and then a little cooler for western Labrador. Teens, the story for you. Speaking of the big land, take a look at this shot. Stunning day in Battle Harbour today. Renee shared this photo with me. How great is that shot?
Beautiful.
Battle Harbour, somewhere where I need to visit one day.
Gorgeous area.
It definitely is. If you would like to share any photos with me, send them to my Facebook page, Twitter, or email them to nophotos@cbc.ca.
And I don't recall us getting a lot of photos from Battle Harbour
We do
before.
not.
Yeah, it's
No, we
nice to
don't.
see those areas of the province that we don't get to see too often.
Yeah, I love when I get photos from everywhere because then I get to choose where we can showcase, because there's so many beautiful corners in this province.
So much to see.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Good night.